pinag-uusapan ngayon is the very controversial na, hindi naman controversial, but rather very surprise announcement of what is supposed to be a open secret at this point. Everybody knows that the Miss Universe organization is up for grabs, it's up for sale, but everybody is like in this bubble where everyone is thinking na hindi totoo yan. It's close to an impossibility. It might not happen and all. So here, but here we are now. We're at this point where it is finally happening, and it's finally the reality that we have to face. So here's how we are going to do the live stream for tonight. What we're going to do is that there are some talking points that I will be talking about with regards to the Miss Universe pageant being sold. There will be some pointers that I really want to get into and really discuss with you guys na gusto kong malinawan natin. And I will be also in between those discussion points, I will interject with comments and questions from you. Gusto ko kasi maging interactive yung ating, what do you call this? Maging interactive yung ating discussions here para we can start with more intelligent conversations with regards to what is happening and what is going on. So, ayan, mag-attendance muna tayo bago tayong magsimula. So, hello Ping, magandang gabi Jason, magandang gabi din sa iyo Ping. Kumusta? I hope na hindi masyado mainit o hindi masyado maulan kung nasaan ka ngayon. We have hello Roscoe. Yes, you haven't missed much. We just started the live stream. We scheduled actually this live stream today at 8 p.m. kasi I have a class earlier na kinakailangan kong tapusin before we start off with the conversation here sa live stream natin. Please, before we begin, please like and share this live stream, comment and and subscribe if you're not yet subscribed, because it will help this live stream to go more public, to get more viewers. I know na this is out of schedule because usually I do the live stream at around Saturday or Sunday, but this time around, because of the very exciting news, I think we need to kinakailangan natin pag-usapan ito. We need to talk about what's happening, what are the things na we have to expect with the new ownership, what are the speculation surrounding the new ownership. Will there be going to be a move from New York to Bangkok? Will there be what do you call this? Will there be a change in the organizational structure of the pageant? Will there be a change in what the Miss Universe is going to look for? So those are things na we are going to tackle in tonight's live stream. I think that there are a lot of pertinent questions na alam ko excited kayo na malaman. So we are able to get several notes and several rumors from some people in the know, and we are able to get some insights as well on the press release that was released by JKN Global for with regards to the Miss Universe acquisition that happened earlier today. Ayan. Okay, Roscoe, sige, basahin natin ang comment ni Roscoe. Before we start the main conversation in you to get out of our system and to put it at rest, what are your thoughts on MGI, thoughts on Rowan, thoughts on winners, thoughts on Grand Philippines? I think I've already mentioned naman kung ano yung thoughts ko with regards to MGI in a previous na live stream last, I think it was Sunday, when I said what are my thoughts on Rowan winning. I reiterate that if the question is can Rowan win the pageant, definitely yes. I think that in terms of capability and technical know-how, I think magaling doon si Rowan, kaya niyang ipanalo yung pageant. However, if the question is, will MGI make Rowan win? My thoughts on that is, because Rowan is coming from an organization that is essentially being left behind by the MGI owners, I don't think that is going to happen anytime soon, because I have already written since 2018 that we will never win this this pageant because iba yung narcissism nung may-ari, and I feel na may vendetta siya with the Filipino fans, but then again, that's my pakiramdam regarding that. And to be honest, I'm actually very tired talking about this pageant, because it's not giving us anything to be excited about. I don't think na, I think siguro, to put it bluntly, gamit na tayo ng pageant na to, kaya ayaw, parang wala na akong amor na pag-usapan pa siya, unless it is within the context of our representative. And knowing Roberta, I think yung pagsali niya dito sa pageant na to, it's just a stepping stone to a bigger pageant, and that is the that is the topic na pag-uusapan natin ngayon, because even when Rowan was competing in Binibining Pilipinas, when she was competing there for any of the titles, ang sinabi niya na gusto niyang mapanalo, na gusto niyang, or rather, ang isa sa mga naging topic of discussions during her press meet and greet was that we, the media fans, the media and fans feel that she's very appropriate for Miss Grand International, na yun naman nga ang pinanalunan niya. However, there is, within that entire press meet and greet, meron din kami na conversation with her na gamitin niya ito as a stepping stone to a higher pageant participation, which is the Miss Universe pageant. And I think ultimately dun din naman ang patutunguhan ni Rowan, and I think that yung mga steps na ginagawa niya ginawa niya during her stint at Binibining Pilipinas, I think those are all leading towards her ultimate pageant participation, which is Miss Universe Philippines later on. So that's all that I have to say with regards to that. Ping says, kabahan ka na Uncle Nawat, magiging HD na rin at bongga ang production ng Miss Universe with a touch of Atay Gadas. Ash Dean, hello. Hi Mr. Cappuccino, good afternoon po. Joining your live while working from home. Hello Ash Den. I hope mag-enjoy ka dito sa ating pa-live ngayon, kasi we are going to be talking about a very exciting development in the Miss Universe pageant. Ramsey, feeling ko, nasa twilight na tayo na ako... Wait lang. Ramsey says, feeling ko, nasa twilight na tayo na ako pageant position. I don't get what the last part means, but I'll leave it to you not to clarify that. Hello, Bandy! Ayan, nandito na si Bandy Kut. Good evening, Sir Jason. I have good faith in the new ownership of Miss U. Reading Miss Anne's credentials, she's not the unscrupulous kind of business person, unlike her other Thai counterpart. Dustin Perelonia, hello, good evening. Magpasabog yan ng stage and upgraded activities knowing Thai owner ang may-ari. Yes. I'm clinging to that hope na kaya niyang ibalik yung glam and yung gloss ng Miss Universe na nawala during the latter part of the Trump era and during the IMG era. So let's hope and wait and see kung ano yung mangyayari. Bandy, ayoko na pag-usapan si Uncle, sa totoo lang. But sige, basahin natin yung comment mo. With regards to Uncle, he triggered the wrath of a new kind of adversary, which are the Vietnamese pageant fans. Agreed. Responsible for winding down IMG's account down to 4.5 million in 24 hours. Baka MGI ang ibig mong sabihin. Kasi sila yung from 6 million naging 4 point something na lang na million. And alam mo naman, mawalan ng amor yung mga yan sa kanila, di ba? Dustin Perolonia says, super bait ni Anne, heart, 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 heart. And Ramsey says, feeling ko po, nagpick na tayo sa pageantry. I don't think we are peaking. I think we are plateauing. Doon kinakailangan nating mahanap yung way that we are able to sustain it. Much like Venezuela in the 90s, we need to be able to sustain yung streak na yon, that either we move up or we maintain status quo. And I think what we are doing right now is just maintaining the status quo. There is also, from how I see things, na yung mga girls natin, especially yung mga binibining Pilipinas girls natin, they are giving the fight of their lives, but the problem is the international orgs not recognizing yung mga skills at yung mga potentials ng mga girls natin. It's more of, I believe, from how I see it, from my own interpretation of things, ang problema hindi sa atin eh. Problema na sa org na tipong marami ng mga underhanded na nangyayari na hindi ko pa pwedeng sabihin ngayon, na maraming mga back dealings na hindi na nakakatuwa. So, yon. I'm not in the position to talk about this at length at this moment, but as soon as I get more information, I get more people collaborating or corroborating these stories, then siguro ipachichi na lang natin in the future. Ayan. Siyempre ayaw naman nating malibelo, di ba? Kumakaway, di ba? May kumakaway na libelo. Ayan, hello Richard Lofrick. Ayan, si Richard is actually a colleague of mine when I was still working in Folded Enang. Hello, welcome to the live session. Ayan, Ashden is saying, I'm having second thoughts about the new Miss Universe owner. Will she be another Nawat who doesn't like Philippines, or will this mean more chances for Thailand to win the Miss Universe crown? Here's my read on that. Kung bagong acquire ng isang entity, ng isang business entity, yung franchise, I don't think na ipapanalo niya yung manok niya or yung manok na galing sa bansa niya, because optics wise it will not look good on them. Much like I am now looking at Mr. International right now, after the passing away of Alan Sim, and the organization has been transferred to a Filipino owner, Attorney Manuel Del Dio. It would be very difficult for the new organization or the new management to crown our Filipino representative, no matter how worthy or deserving he is of the title. Baka nga runner-up lang ang mangyari kay MJ, which is, for me, one of my fears na mangyari. This is just my read. I'm not saying na ito yung mangyayari. But optics-wise, if the new org crowns its own national winner for the international tilt, magkakaroon ng hindi magandang optics yan. Hindi magandang optics yan sa mata ng ibang tao, sa mata ng ibang bansa. And in order for the pageant siguro na mag-continue at mag-prosper, kinakailangan very fair yung set of winners. At the same time, the one who will actually win the title is something that would bring in more credibility to the new org. And I think that's the same route that Anne will take on for the Miss Universe organization. Kokorona siya ng someone na would be useful for the interests that she has for the pageant. I don't think that kokorona siya ng what do you call this, ng tao based on personal affiliation. I think that she will be very careful because she won't want to have her first year of tenure as owner tainted by favoritism. And I think yun yung kinakailangan nating bantayan at tignan. I think that despite Anna Suengam Ayam being a very well-rounded competitor, she's actually among the 3 girls that I'm currently looking right now as potential Miss Universe. I don't think na with this new development magiging front runner siya for the crown. It will sound and it would look unfair for her na siya ang mananalo simply because Thai yung may-ari. But if trabahuin niya, ipakita niya na she's worthy of the title, she performs well on the prelims and the finals night of the Miss Universe pageant, then kung hindi niya bibigyan ng doubt na siya yung landslide na winner, I don't think na magkakaroon ng question na manalo siya. But if there are other girls who are at par with her in terms of yung performance, in terms of yung overall na marketability niya with the new org, then the organization and the judging panel might just veer away and go towards the other competitors. So that's my read on things. But I do hope that whatever happens, fair and just yung judging process, which is something that we cannot say doon sa recently held na competition na ang judges is people na kakilala ng may-ari, people na nakatrabaho ng may-ari, and walang outside forces na would provide different perspective on selecting the winner or provide different or how to say this, magbigay ng patas na perspektibo na hindi dikit doon sa organisasyon in the judging panel. Yon. Ang dami na nating pinag-usapan and I haven't even started with with my points. Ayan. Okay, wait. Dustin Peralonia says, may sinasabi ata si Ann kay Amanda Obdam kaya nanalo daw ang Mexico dahil for potential Latin business daw. I am not sure kung ano yon. I'll investigate on that. I'll check up on that. With the new ownership, do you think tuloy ba ang open to married women and women who have children? And yes, Roscoe. I think that that new rule, that new eligibility rule, will not be scrapped out. It will still be there simply because it's already been approved, confirmed, and communicated to all the national directors, so it is in effect, I believe. Pierre, hello. Hello, Pierre. Hi, sir. Rowan's training in MGI is 10 times harder than Miss Universe because of the tedious activities that she had throughout 25 days. The emerging powerhouse in Miss U will be Thailand and Vietnam because of their hunger. And hindi na rin natin pwedeng ikaila na they have money to burn. So, kung ang pag-uusapan is commerciality ng mananalo, hindi mawawala yung mga countries na yon na binanggit mo sa equation. Okay, si Bandy, sabi niya, I believe in the ability of the Filipino to adapt to change, and this will force us as a pageant nation to become more innovative and formulate fresh ideas out of the box, which I think is what's happening currently, because if you look at, again, yung participation ni Rowan, ni Gabby, and ni Chelsea, you can see how they leveled up their game. You can see that despite the back-to-back challenges, they give their best. And looking at the competition, in terms of technical abilities, in terms of pasarela, in terms of performance, hindi na rin mawala dyan yung ganda ng katawan, ganda ng mukha, and ayos ng preparasyon for the entire pageant. You can see that nag-level up nga ang mga Filipina queens. And these are just 3 of the girls na pinag-uusapan natin. Hindi pa kasama dyan sa equation si Alexandra Rosales, who recently won Supermodel Worldwide. So we really, have a certain leveling up of how we do pageant participation. I don't think na nag-retrogress tayo as other connoisseurs, pageant connoisseurs, and bloggers would say. But I would rather say that the organization is looking for something different nowadays. Ayan, 20 minutes in na tayo. I think it's about time that uh, we talk about the pointers that I want to discuss with the Miss Universe. Okay? Unahin na muna natin to, and then babalikan ko yung ating mga uh, comments and questions. Kasi, here's the thing. When we heard about the Miss Universe rumor wanting to be sold by IMG, this is actually something that we've heard since 2019. It so happened that in 2020, it blew out yung news na ito simply because of the financial woes that IMG was at, yung very public na news about their like massive debts na nasa billions of dollars yung kanilang yung kanilang debt, and then it so happened that during the 2020 na period, unti-unting lumabas yung mga financial measures and financial tightening that they did in order to preserve yung kanilang assets and to stay afloat, essentially. So with that being said, during that time there were several names floating about people who wants to buy the organization, whether it's the Kardashians, whether it's Ryan Seacrest, and then there was this news bit that they don't want to sell off the Miss Universe pageant to anyone who is non-American. They wanted to keep the business within an American entity in order for siguro them to maintain yung market na meron sila sa US. The problem with that with that thinking is that they're limiting themselves in terms of who is able to salvage or buy the organization out or help the organization out, simply because ang market ng pageants is essentially no longer in North America, no longer in Europe, but it's in Latin America and Asia. And that's a reality that we all recognize. Ilang beses na tayong nag-live at paulit-ulit ko na lang sinasabi yon na the market is essentially in Asia and Latin America. And with Latin America being a very, what do you call this? It's already a mature market when it comes to pageant, unlike Asia na ngayon pa lang nagbo-boom, nagbo-blossom yung market sa Asia. I think that it makes sense that the Miss Universe now is in cahoots, or is not in cahoots. The Miss Universe now is bought up by a Asian business entity. Now, there are questions with regards to what's going to happen with the Miss Universe organization. I cannot say for sure, but what I have heard being discussed in the past months with regards to the move of the Miss Universe organization, whether it's going to be in Bangkok or in New York, I believe that there will be a satellite office that will be located in Bangkok, as well as the main offices in the United States, in New York specifically. The reason for that is because JKN is going to handle more of the business aspect, business management aspect, and dealings with regards to the Miss Universe organization. So this means licensing, this means franchising with other businesses to expand the market of the Miss Universe organization. Now, there is a part of the press release that was released earlier today, siguro mga around 7 or 8 hours ago, with regards to the Miss Universe organization. And this was, I believe, the source is the JKN Global Group themselves. And ang nakalagay doon sa press release na to, if you allow me to read it, is that it says here, during the announcement, JKN shared its plans for generating additional value based on the natural strength of the Miss Universe brand, including the upcoming debut of NU Lifestyle, a new licensing and merchandising arm of the Miss Universe organization that will leverage the strength of the Miss Universe brand and JKN's lifestyle portfolio to create a new range of merchandise as well as entertainment and various business opportunities that reflect the strength of the brand. Now, there is also a part of the press release that says there that transaction will expand JKN Global Group's portfolio of broadcast and entertainment properties to become a world-leading omni-channel powerhouse. So which means that JKN sought out to buy the Miss Universe organization to expand its market to the North American market. It also probably means that we are to expect that in the future, magkakaroon ng Miss Universe merchandise that's going to be sold that is gonna capitalize on the Miss Universe lifestyle na brand. And dito, papasok na yung mga t-shirts, papasok na yung mga jackets, papasok na siguro yung mga souvenir tiaras, pins, brooches, and whatever that they can think of. You have to remember that the Miss Universe organization being bought by a Thai conglomerate or Thai business entity is a smart move for them in order to capitalize yung mga memorabilia na pageant fans love to collect. Meaning, because as you all know, Thailand is a mature market when it comes to its jewelry industry. If you are not aware, Pandora, like the accessory affordable luxury na brand na trinkets where you buy small mga beads and charms that you put on a bracelet. Those are all manufactured in Thailand, and Thailand has a very robust na jewelry making market. So imagine if they are able to tap that and capitalize on that, sino sa atin ang hindi magdadalawang isip na bumili ng brooch na souvenir item from the Miss Universe website? So they can do that. They can create merchandise and sell it to us, capitalizing on our love of the brand. And I think that is a merchandising move for them. That is on the product and service related. Now, there is also another aspect of the pageant where they can tie up with other broadcast networks to create content, whether it's a documentary, whether it's a limited series, whether it's a lifestyle show, or maybe a any kind of show, reality show that is going to be based on the life of a Miss Universe winner. So imagine that those kinds of opportunities that they can offer, that they can expand into. And you have to remember, yung words na ginamit sa press release nila is very careful, but at the same time very revealing by saying here, let me just highlight the part where okay, here we are. Oh wait, that's not it. Okay, here. The transition expands JKN's portfolio of global broadcast and media properties across entertainment and consumer products, meaning there is an entertainment factor and then there is a consumer product factor. So meaning entertainment shows, possible reality show or whatever, and consumer products, which is, I said, pwedeng pageant memorabilia, any merchandise that has the Miss Universe logo on it. So malay nyo in the future magkaroon tayo ng mga mug na Miss Universe mug, ganyan. JKN as acquisitions would build on the Miss Universe organization's strong brand and vision, developing an integrated and compelling proposition with new opportunities to grow the business in key and untapped markets, including Asia. So it means na strategic yung kanilang tinitignan in order to expand the Miss Universe pageant, meaning it's going to be like your typical business venture. So yun ang yun yung kinakailangan nating intindihin and to read on with the development in the Miss Universe. Now, you might be asking, what will happen now with the organization? Magkakaroon ba ng split? Magkakaroon ba ng reorganization? Here's the thing. My read on this is that they will not they will keep the status quo at the moment. They will not make any drastic or major changes in the organizational structure simply because if they do that, if they change, remotely anything that is related to management of the pageant business during the time of a transition, during the time where nagpe-prepare sila for Miss Universe, then I doubt na they're gonna shake things up that much. Ang read ko there is that tatapusin mo nila yung Miss Universe or yung tatapusin mo nila yung pageant on January 2023, and then that's when they would really sit down and plan out a specific course of action with regards to the business. So I don't think na magkakaroon ng major na changes on the actual na 2, 3, or even 4 months leading to and after the pageant. I doubt na they're gonna start restructuring the organization to reflect what the owners want to happen in the pageant. I doubt. Kasi too much, that's going to be too much headache for the new owner to take on, especially that they are in a transition period. So, magiging maingat din sila, I hope, sa transition period nito na they don't do anything drastic because it will affect the overall outcome of the pageant later on. And kung magkapalpak-palpak man ang mangyari sa Miss Universe sa January 2023, hindi naman yung org na current yung sisisihin, kundi yung bagong owners. Ultimately, it will all go up back to them. So I doubt na magkakaroon ng ganong changes or magkakaroon ng ganong quick na restructuring of the organization. It can happen in the future, but I don't think that it will happen immediately. So with regards to that, there is also a question earlier on Instagram asking kung ano ba ang difference ng position ni Anne versus the position ni Amy. And of course Paula. Amy and Paula are technically on the operational side of things. Anne, being the owner, can change the leadership of the Miss Universe organization, meaning she has the power to hire, fire, rehire, or even make changes on the organizational structure of the pageant. So that's the difference. However, I think na with new ownership, bibigyan niya yung sarili niya ng panahon na pag-aralan kung ano yung steps moving forward, whether or not the question of leadership, does it needs to be changed, does it need to be maintained, or it needs to be improved. That will all fall on the new owners. So yun. But when it comes to day-to-day operational activities, of course, Paula and Amy are the ones in charge of that. There. Sige, let's take on some comments and questions here. Okay, Ganda Ging. We haven't peaked yet. The difference between PH and Venezuela trajectory is that each girl we produce is so different from each other. Some say that makes us inconsistent. I say we embrace individuality. I think you're right. I think that's a good way of looking at things because iba yung paano kumana yung tatlong binibini na nag-compete recently. And if you look at it, if it talagang super nag-pick na tayo, then how come binibining Pilipinas candidates like Alexandra Rosales, like Faith Garcia, like Shannon Tampon, like Shani Tormes, when they competed in the respective international competitions, they win or they end up as first runner-up. Like in the case of Shannon. So imagine that, candidate ka lang ng Binibining Pilipinas, pero you are strong enough to win international titles. So that means that we are sending highly competitive girls. We're not yet on the downward slope, but we are at the moment plateauing. And that is a good thing because it's better to maintain your current position rather than bumagsak ka na lang bigla. There. Michael Florendo saying, maganda ang stage presence ni Miss Brazil. Ganda ng gown. Hindi typical pageant gown yung silver gown. Fashion forward kaya nanalo. Siguro. But, next. Dustin Peralonia, siya din po ba owner ng Miss USA at Miss Teen USA? Yes. Because ang ownership ng Miss Universe USA and Teen USA are all under the umbrella of the Miss Universe organization. And yung position ni Crystal Stewart is only as a national director, as a franchise owner of the pageant. She owns the franchise, but she doesn't own the Miss USA itself. Yon. Lottie World. Nako, issue yan. May patunay ba? Saka natin pag-usapan kapag may patunay. Kasi at this point in time, I think professional naman siguro itong bagong owner, di ba? Na hindi siya mapagpatol. And this is an issue that is like 4 years? Kasi 2018 pa yata ito na issue, 2019. Parang, ilang taon nang nakaraan, di ba? I'm sure all parties have moved on. Pierre, since the owner of MU is Thai, does it mean that the winner will reside during her reign in Thailand or still in the USA? Thanks, sir. I think it would be safe that she will be shunting between the two main office and satellite offices for whatever business purposes that they have for her. Tapos yes, Dustin, I've seen that recently. Siguro mga 5 minutes before tayo mag-live na merong press conference nga si Anne. So let's just wait for I'm sure that it's going to be in Thai, but hopefully, if in case totoong if it's in English, then we'll watch that a little bit later on. Bandikut Kutkot, I believe now is the time to rally behind Miss Earth since it's our own Filipino brand, but please, on the part of the MDE org, I hope they should listen more and be open to improvement. Yes, I agree. Kasi ang problema with Miss Earth is branding, is glossy ng pageant. They don't believe in the entertainment factor of the pageant, and that is a wasted potential because pageants essentially is entertainment first and foremost before it is anything else. People watch pageants because of the entertainment that they get from it, because of the fascination that they get from it, and not recognizing the fact that they need to improve their staging. They need to make strides in how they stage the pageant. That is something that they really that is really detrimental to them if they don't do something about that. Right now, on a personal note, I have very little interest with Miss Earth simply because I don't get the kind of satisfaction that I used to get from them before. We can coast along with yung advocacy niya. However, nowadays, with so many international competitions na nagsisulputan, they need to at least be competitive in order for them na hindi mapag-iwanan ng ibang mga nagsisusuputang bagong pageants. So I think, if anyone from the leadership of Miss Earth listening, or anyone from you has access to them, and give them na lang yung sentimiento ng mga fans na nawawala ng interes ang mga tao sa pageant nila. And we don't want that ultimately the Miss Earth, the Miss Earth pageant would go the same route as their previous pageant, which is the Miss Asia Pacific quest, na nawalan na lang talaga ng visibility, and then nawalan na nalaglag siya doon sa common psyche, common collective psyche ng mga pageant fans. Dustin Perilonia, okay. Its relationships with global partners and brands and its wealth of content, licensing, and merchandising opportunities makes this a strong strategic addition to our portfolio, pahayag ni Jacob Pong, ni Ann. Pupunta ata yung Team MU org sa Thailand. Okay, that's according to Dustin. Veronica says, congratulations, Thailand. Tapos, okay, Lemuel 23.5. Hello, Sir Jason. Magandang gabi po. Magandang gabi din, Lemuel. JKN taking over will be a good thing for MUO, giving a new lease on life for the pageant. In terms of production, and possibly more countries will be able to join. I think the conversation there is that magkakaroon ng additional funding ang Miss Universe organization in order for them to be able to hire better entertainers for their for their show, hire better better technical crew, better creative people behind the scenes, to really pump up yung interest and yung enthusiasm sa Miss Universe na pageant. So I think doon mangyayari yung changes, or rather I am hoping na doon mangyari yung mga changes, because in looking at at the pageant itself, there is a need talaga na i-back up yung gloss factor ng Miss Universe pageant, kasi yun yung unti-unting nag-erode over the years, and they have to recognize at the end of the day that people and pageant fans want the entertainment factor, and dun magaling ang Thailand. I am sure that as the new owners, they would want to pump in as much as possible on the gloss ng organization, ng pageant, para mabuhay ulit yung interest ng mga pageant fans. As you can see, talagang niligawan ng todo ng MGI ang mga Latina na fans na market, and I think that's something na attributed to the fact na very glossy nga naman talaga ang MGI. Mas focus daw si Ann JKN sa Latin market, according to Dustin. Dustin naman, kakabasa ko lang na sinabi na dun sa press release na eto, basahin ko ulit. Saan na nga ba yun? Okay, ito ha. Where's the start of the sentence? JKN's acquisition will build on the Miss Universe organization's strong brand and vision, developing an integrated and compelling proposition with the new opportunities to grow the business in key untapped markets. Meaning, markets na possibly include Asia and Africa. So there, and nakita nyo din dun sa blog post where I posted the entire entire press release, specifically mentioned ang Asia. So I don't think na Latina yung kanyang hahanapin. I think that ultimately Miss Universe being Miss Universe, fair sila na mag-judge ng process unless baguhin nila yung format ng pageant. There. Okay, Lemuel 23.5 says, we know most countries have a hard time getting MUO licensing to debut or to return to the pageant with certain issues JKN could ease these issues. So many will be able to join. Agree. Siguro kung may ibaba nila yung franchise fees, that would be, you know, that would be something na welcome sa mga smaller countries that cannot afford yung mga exorbitant na mga requirements sa financial, financials part ng owning a Miss Universe franchise. Ashden, this would sound silly, but does having a trans Miss Universe owner mean more opportunities for trans women to join the Miss Universe pageant? I think that would mean more visibility for trans women to be in the pageant, but doesn't necessarily mean that there is a certain given advantages given to them simply because of their gender. I don't think na aabot tayo sa ganon. But let's wait and see ano yung mangyayari later on. Okay, Michael Ferrendo, magandang stage present ni Miss Brazil. Michael, ayoko na siyang pag-uusapan yung pageant na yan, so pasensya na, let's move on. Okay, Lemuel 23.5. Sir Jason, according to some pages, Anne won't change the positions of leadership within the organization. She wants to work with Amy and Paula, which is good news because right now I don't think it would be beneficial to rock the boat. Keep the status quo at this moment before making drastic changes. And also, mahal natin si Paula kahit na binudol tayo nung sabihin niya na the Miss Universe is not for sale. Eme with the interview with ABS-CBN several months back, di ba? Na-eme tayo ni Madam Paula doon. Rosca Paeste, can we expect Anne to be as hands-on as Donald Trump or be more like in the background like Endeavor, like Ari Emenway? I have no idea at this moment. But I am hoping na she finds some middle ground between the two. Hindi naman pwede that you're so unconcerned and you just leave the pageant organization to run itself and then earn money on itself, like what Endeavor did. But you cannot also be too controlling as Donald was in Miss Universe, that you have the trump cards, giving or rather removing opportunities for other women of color na hindi niya prefer. So I am hoping that Anne would take the middle ground there, that it allows freedom for the organization to do what it does, but have enough oversight na kaya niyang i-rectify kung ano man yung mga mali or yung mga missteps ng organization na whatever whatever decision na lang po pwede na. Hindi naman pwedeng ganon. Kinakailangan pa rin na mayroong oversight from the head the owner of the organization or the owner of the pageant. Dustin Perelonia, need ng Miss Earth to hire new social media manager, entertainment head partner, like accessment, ganon. They need someone with a very creative and a very, someone who has a vision for the pageant. Yun. Bandicot is asking kung, as a pageant fan, are you open to the idea of a transgender Miss Universe? Yes, I am. Cataluna, Miss Nevada, USA last year, I thought she was going to be the first transgender Miss USA. And that would be a great representation in the Miss Universe stage. Ayan. Dali lang. Natutuyan ako ng laway sa dami ng comments. Ayan. Dustin Peralonia, in fairness, the Miss Earth candidate, super competitive and justahan talaga. Yes, I agree. I mean, the mere fact that si Oriana Pablos ang representative ng Venezuela this year sa Miss Earth, that would signal na magaganda talaga yung mga candidates nila. And not to mention Andrea Aguilera of Colombia, if I'm not mistaken. is a former top 12 placer in Miss World. So, kung ganda ang pag-uusapan, walang problema. Wala tayong unquestionable yan sa Miss Earth. I think that the Miss Earth organization's, main strength is crowning really deserving winners. But their weak points, hindi mo talagang maikaila na weak point talaga nila yung entertainment factor ng pageant. Wala silang konsepto ng kung ano ang glossy, ano ang glamorous. And they are very unconcerned with that. And it's so sad kasi ang tingin ng mga tao sa Miss Earth because of that, that attitude that they have with regards to gloss and entertainment and all this, fancy stuff is it's not who they are. And ang perception ng mga tao tuloy sa kanila, baduy sila, di ba? So that's up to them if whether or not they want to strengthen their brand image with gloss, or makontento sila sa status quo nila. Okay, Dorothy V. Jones wants to share this thing. NBC Universal was more responsible for the success of that MU era. Trump was hands-on in a different sort of way. LOL, no hate. Ayan. Bandicoot Sir Jason, do you think the BBP will have a sour relationship with the Miss Globe with all these issues behind the scenes? I don't think so. I think ang binibini parang walang pake sa mga issues na yan, na tipong I think they are unbothered, which is a double-edged sword in my opinion. Na you cannot be, hindi ka pwedeng masyadong balat sibuyas sa mga issues na nangyayari behind the scenes. But at the same time, you cannot be unbothered that you seem like you don't care. Somewhere in between naman sana. And I think what binibining Pilipinas siguro needs to recognize at this point in time is that they really need to be very competitive and aggressive when it comes to the pageant orgs that we work with. They really need to step up in terms of their presence. Kinakailangan may presence sila doon sa mismong pageant ng mga girls para it would give, the optics na importante ang mga pageants dito sa kanila, not just on their finals night. I believe that if Binibining Pilipinas is able to host one or two or all of those international franchises here in the Philippines, find ways, na magawa nila yon, I think it will ultimately benefit their brand. Pero kung status quo lang sila na okay lang, pwede na, ganyan, hindi sila masyado competitive when nalalagasan sila ng mga franchise. I think they really need to be very aggressive para hindi na maulit yung mga nangyari sa kanila. They've lost Miss Universe, they lost Supranational, they lost MGI, and now they are looking for other pageants na may na established na yung mga history ng mga pageants na yon. So perhaps this time around they really be hands-on when dealing with these international pageant franchises and organizations. Jane Constantino, gisingin natin mga Pilipino ang Miss Earth owner. Sige, gawin nyo yan, Jane. Kasi kami sa media, pagod na rin na ginagawa yun eh. Parang hindi sila nakikinig sa amin. Maybe sa inyo siguro makikinig sila. Ayun. Kasi fans ultimately din naman yung nagdidikta sa pwedeng magdikta sa org. Okay, Travel Junkie says, hello Sir Jason, do you think magkakaroon pa rin ng paid voting sa Miss Universe after this? Yes, I think so. Kailangan nila ng pera. Pagbigyan natin sila kung gusto nila ng pera. Kasi again, with all the moves here, which I will discuss here later on, it all screams about business dealings. It all screams about wanting to earn more and capitalize on the Miss Universe name to really expand the brand from just a pageant into something that offers merchandise and other business opportunities. Um, um, Cheshire, I think I've already um, answered a question that is similar to your question. So backread ka na lang. I think I've answered your question like on the first 30 minutes or the first 20 minutes of this live. So pasensya na tayo, ha? Move on tayo sa dami ng mga comments. Dustin Perlonia, tumaas daw ang stock market ni JKN after announcing the ownership ng 17%, nearly 550 million baht. Chris Saligan is saying yung new owner po ba ng Miss Universe ay yung nagkaroon din ng relasyon kay Kirk Mondad, baka maging awkward sila ni Kat. Yeah, kung maging awkward man, and I think they're all mature, well-educated people, so let's hope that whatever past that they had, they bury it in the hatchet. I think nakapag-move on na sila sa mga lives nila. So let's see kung how are we going to move forward. Ayun, I think that's an old chapter, and that's a chapter that no longer needs to be opened up and reread. Ashton, I have nothing against trans women, pero I am also a fan ng MIQ, kaya I would love to see trans women compete in their own pageant instead of joining Miss Universe. Just my 2 cents. Roscoe is saying that this new ownership is welcomed for me. Other than bringing the glitz and glam back to Miss Universe, what do you think they can do to strengthen their brand, bring time back to number 1? I think Miss Universe is still number 1, at least at the psyche, collective psyche of pageant fans. I think the only reason why we get a lot of these negative comments with regards to Miss Universe is because we miss the glam, we miss the gloss, we miss the entertainment factor of Miss Universe, we miss all those things na nakasanayan ng mga pageant fans. With regards to the pageant, I do understand that they need to keep up with the times and be more woke or more inclusive, but that doesn't mean that they forget that essentially strip them with all of these things, they are at their core a beauty pageant. And if they want to redefine what beauty pageant is, then tanggalin nila yung swimsuit, tanggalin nila yung evening gown, make it just a regular interview process for the Miss Universe na competition. If they really want to redefine this competition na hindi siya pageant, because any competition na may swimsuit, na may Q&A, na may evening gown component, and ang mga girls are judged on their physical looks at least, and are judged on their performance. Pageant yun eh, beauty pageant yun eh, 'di ba? Unless na it is a physique body building na performance, and I don't think na na yung mga contest na yun may evening gown component, may interview na component. So ayun lang, magpakatotoo sila. Ang tanong ng karamihan is Miss Universe is still number 1 pageant kasi nagkagulo. Yung isa sabi, ano ba talaga totoo? Tanong ni Dustin Perlonia. It depends on paano nyo dinidefine kung ano ang number 1. Kasi kung gloss ang pag-uusapan nyo, of course, number 1 ang MGI. Pero kung pag-uusapan nyo is relevance, history, branding, hindi mo masasapawan ng Miss Universe. Real talk lang. Ayun. Bandy is asking ano yung opinion ko on paid voting in beauty pageants. Is it really necessary? It's not. I don't think it's necessary. I don't think it's needed. I do think that making it into the top 10, top 20 should be a matter of performance, a matter of labor and work from the candidates themselves. They should be judged not on what they can provide financially to the organization, but rather on what can prove on stage, what they can offer potentially to the betterment of the organization. Yun. I am not a fan of paid voting, to be honest. Ayan, Lemwell 23.5. Sir Jason, thoughts on the current Mr. International 2022 in its candidates? What are the chances of our candidate in achieving another milestone for the Philippines? Lemwell, nasagot ko na yung second part of your question. Because with the Mr. International organization, or rather the Mr. International ownership being transferred to a Filipino owner, I think that it would be terrible optics if they crown our own MJ or Diliano, despite the fact that MJ is probably one of the best, if not the best candidate we've ever sent to the Mr. International competition. At sakit man sabihin na mahihirapan tayo na masungkit yung title. I think that may concerns din yung organization as a whole na to look fair in terms of optics. So perhaps this will be a challenge for MJ to really prove na if he wins, he is undoubtedly the best performer that night, the best overall choice. Because if a newly Filipino-owned na competition would crown a Filipino winner, it is just akin to having JKN crown Ana Suengam Ayam, Miss Universe Thailand 2022 as Miss Universe 2022. It will be terrible optics. So, kinakailangan for MJ and for Ana to be crowned winners on their respective pageants. They really need to ensure that they are unquestionably, undeniably the overall best performers, best choice for the titles. So, ang basa ko dyan, mahihirapan both Thailand and the Philippines in winning Mr. International and Miss Universe because the odds are against them. The good thing with Asians is that when things are against us, we prove people wrong. So I am clinging to that hope. Now, with regards to the Mr. International organization and its candidates, I think that even if mas maliit, mas kokonti yung mga candidates this year compared to the previous years na kung minsan umaabot sila ng 50, I think the candidates this year are of good quality. And looking at them face-to-face during their press presentation, yung mga nag-stand out talaga are the more uhaw na mga candidates from Asia. And I think that it's about time that we crown, another Asian winner, whether it be the Philippines, Hong Kong, Taiwan, or India, for example. I think that hindi magiging questionable yon because palaban ang Asia ngayon sa Mr. International. Although, I will not also discount the possibility of Spain, Czech Republic, Venezuela, and oh my God, I forgot the other countries. Thailand as possible winners. Kasi very very competitive sila. And I am just hoping that whoever wins Mr. International this year would be someone who's willing to work hard for the organization, because I believe that with what we've seen so far with Mr. International Philippines, paano pinalakad ng local organization ang Mr. International Philippines, mas mukhang disente, mas mukhang respectable yung pamamalakad nila. So I am looking at that as a barometer of growth for the pageant locally. And if they can replicate that at the international level, then by all means, I think that there is a possibility that Mr. International would rise up in terms of respectability, which is, I believe, something that is lacking on most male pageants nowadays. Ayan, 3_Z, saan po magbe-base yung new MU winner? I am not sure, but I have a feeling that she will be shunting between Thailand and the US, depending on what business opportunities are there. Dustin Perlonia says, ABS-CBN pa din daw ang official media partner ng Miss Universe sa January 15. Ayan. That's good to hear. Kahit paano, buhay pa rin ang ABS-CBN kahit wala na silang prangkisa. Jella Vlogs, heart emoji din. Ayan. Okay, Lemuel is asking kung ano yung mga national costumes na favorite ko. I think I've already posted that on Instagram. I am posting it on my blog as well. Tomorrow, I think, lalabas na tomorrow yata or in 2 days. Kung gusto niyo ng mahaba-habang explanation, please wait for my blog post on sashes&scripts.wordpress.com. But if you want yung mabilisang listahan, it's already posted on Instagram. Ayan. Okay, Baby Mimi. Sabi niya, Miss Universe will always be number 1. Remember, not every gold is gold. The difference between all minor pageants clamoring to claim they belong with the Alpha 4, they've been tested through time. Ayan. Ping says, hindi mananalo si MJ dahil ang dami din talagang malalakas sa Mr. International like Venezuela, USA, and other Asians. Jam Amihan, yes, yung tungkol kay MJ, bukod sa ang OTR ay Filipino, sa Pilipinas pa ang Mr. International, double whammy. Yun na nga eh. That is why I feel sad because I think that MJ, if we remove the fact that the pageant is owned by a local Filipino, by a local business entity, by this being held also in the Philippines, winnable talaga si MJ if you remove those two factors. However, if MJ really performs on the finals night at magpakitang gilas siya, then I don't think there is no question if he wins Mr. International. So very, I don't say slim, but malaki yung mataas yung level of difficulty of MJ winning. But if there was someone among the roster of the Mr. International Philippines winners na kaya yung laban ni MJ, I think si MJ lang yung pwedeng lumaban ng ganon. So yes, meron pa rin akong hope. I still have this glimmer of hope and faith that MJ can win Mr. International. Bandicoot Kutkut, Sir Jason, do you believe we should shift our focus to Miss World since we only have one crown so far, unlike other pageants where we reap more success? Isa din kasi ang Miss World, sabi hindi ko maintindihan kung paano yung judging process eh. So, tignan natin. Right now, I think I don't see Filipinos having much more with Miss World. Parang napigana tayo doon sa experience natin with Catriona in 2016. I think that was the straw na nag-further hindi naman, ayoko naman sabihin nakasira, but rather that was the straw na that was the result na hindi natin up until now malunok-lunok. If you get my drift. Ayan. Jael Albaniel, hi Sir Jason, hello din, kumusta? Hideaki Kiluka, nagluluksa ba kayo? Hideaki, palalampasin kita kasi first time mo ngayon eh. Pero, um, just for your information, my mom passed away last April. So, I think yung comment mo, iayon mo naman. Kasi hindi maganda. Hindi maganda ang tunog. Medyo ano ka, medyo ayusin mo yung tono mo kasi hindi ano eh, nakakabastos. Ah, kung kung hindi ka lang bago-bago, mas na ano, nasampulan kita. Okay, Pageant Mag Philippines. Hello, Pageant Mag. Ayan, kumusta? Magkikita tayo bukas. Okay, sa tingin mo, sir, yung new ownership ngayon, ay magiging advantage sa Thai or Asian in general? I have no idea because hindi ko pa nai-experience sila at magtrabaho firsthand. So, let's see. There is a possibility na meron siyang biases, but whether or not ipakita niya yung biases niya na yon on how the Miss Universe is being run, is still, open for discussion kasi hindi pa natin nakikita kung paano niya pa. After siguro ng first 2 years, saka tayo magkakaroon ng idea kung ano yung kind of involvement niya with the pageant. Ayan. Lagi po ba Mr. International venues sa Philippines or nag-out of the country na according to Dustin? Dustin, actually, when it was owned by Alan Sim, it is a Singaporean-based na pageant, and they have had different stagings in Thailand, in Korea, in Singapore, and other Asian countries. I am not sure kung lumabas na sila out of Asia. So, I still need to double check on that. But yes, hindi sila regularly being staged here. The only time that I remember na it was staged here in Manila was during the time of the year after Neil Perez won. Yon. There. Pageant Mag says, Spain, Hong Kong, and USA ako ngayon sa MI. Ayan. Cheshire, do you think having a new owner affects the type of Miss Universe candidate that they will pick to win? Will they crown an advocate like MGI or polish and sexy woman like Trump? Talaga? Advocate like MGI? Advocate ng Start the War? Charot! Okay, where are we? Ashden, the new MU owner is a businesswoman. I think MU will be more garapal with paid voting, just like other international pageant, i.e. MGI and MG. Ping, ano po ba ang major male pageants? I would assume Mr. World, Mr. International, Manhunt, and right now Global. Mr. Global? Yun. Nasaan na tayo? Sir Jason, I believe it is high time for Miss International to rebrand itself from its so old-fashioned take on pageantry, hoping the possible staging here in the Philippines will spice things up. Sana nga matuloy kasi I've also heard na gusto nilang gawin sa Bacolod yung Miss International. Ayan. Okay, so let's go back muna doon sa points that I want to discuss with regards to yung ano natin, with regards to this new development. And I will be talking about the business dealings because as I said earlier, the establishment ng JKN as the new owner is based on potential business deals and expanding yung kanilang empire, yung kanilang market sa North America and other parts of the world. And there is a common question and common curiosity amongst us na would think na akala ko ba they are wanting to have the Miss Universe sold to a American owner. How come na it is being sold now to an Asian or someone outside of North America? There is two possible scenarios that I imagine that I am currently looking at as possible reasons why that decision came about to sell it with JKN. And the first one is that either JKN really, bought the pageant with very high na price in order for them to convince na there is a market or there is good leadership here, there is good opportunities here. Pwede na they sold, IMG or Endeavor sold the pageant at least at the mark of 20 million US dollars. And my assumption is pwedeng higher than that yung binayaran ng JKN in order for them to be able to acquire the Miss Universe the Miss Universe ownership. So that's the first scenario that I'm thinking. The second scenario is that it is possible na ang pwedeng nangyari is that walang North American na business entity who is willing to invest or who is willing to pay for the 20 million US dollars na price point ng Miss Universe organization. So, whether or not Telemundo or other, American business entities are not interested, the interpretation to that is that wala talaga ang pera sa North America when it comes to pageants. There is possibly no interest from American businessmen to purchase the Miss Universe organization because they also know na this is not a winning business for the North American market. And we can see that with the total decline of the Miss America pageant na hindi mo na maintindihan kung pageant pa ba siya or reality show na lang ba siya or whatever. Because currently, pababa ng pababa yung mga yung interest ng North American market with the Miss Universe na pageant. Imagine na during the time of Donald Trump and even the owners before Donald Trump, mataas parati ang ratings ng Miss Universe sa US. And towards the 2010s, going to the 2020s, the decline was very visible. In fact, the ratings, they are losing like 1 million, 2 million in every staging of the pageant. So that tells you the kind of interest na meron pa ang American business, ang American market with pageant as a whole. And now, another thing that needs to be understood here is that Miss Universe is now operating more like a traditional business model, meaning they are just leveraging the Miss Universe brand, but they will be providing for us merchandise to be bought, shows to be consumed, whether it's paid or not. We still need to we still need to look at that, how it's gonna pan out in the future. But we have to keep in mind that licensing and merchandising can take forms, can take numerous forms. Pwede nila tayong bentahan ng mga memorabilia, ng mga pageant memorabilia. They started selling to us mga NFTs in the past year. You can see na they've started also selling merchandise in 2020. I think it's in 2020 with the what do you call this? In 2021, sorry, with the jackets, with the face mask and everything that's available to purchase online. So makikita talaga natin na unti-unti Miss Universe is becoming more of a traditional na business entity, and that means that they will be selling off products, they will be selling off services, they will be selling off opportunities to license for entertainment the Miss Universe name. And this would mean more pageant content to consume later on, whether it's paid or not. And I think ultimately, we have to recognize na ito na yung patutunguhan kumbaga ng Miss Universe pageant because they need to keep on being self-sustaining. Do you think po, since bago na CEO ng Miss Universe, kaya nila tapatan ang production ng MGI? That's a question by JV Viray. Tingin ko naman, it will all depend din doon sa amount of investment that JKN will be pouring into the Miss Universe organization. So, if we are basing it on the fact that Anne is a billionaire, then we might expect the same thing on the entertainment front. And besides, if you're not looking at the financial na galawan ng dollar ng Thai baht, ang dollar is still, the US is still in recession, so medyo vulnerable pa din ang US dollar. Among the Asian currencies, the Thai baht is actually strong. The Philippine peso and the Korean won is actually weak as of late. So, alam mo, kapag may pera ka, marami kang pwedeng gawin. Yun. Kaloka si Jael. Jael Albanial says, nakakatawa yung pa-live ni Uncle. Wala daw siyang magawa if ayaw ng Vietnamese sa kanya. Well, bahala siyang mag-pedal ng kanyang pageant. Trabaho niya 'yon. Dorothy V. Jones says, let's just await the Miss Universe proceeding this January. Let's give the new owner the benefit of the doubt, which I think everyone is willing to do, pero nauunahan lang sila ng expectation. So maybe let's include in the conversation, wrangling our expectations to manage them so that hindi rin tayo masaktan in the end. Phil Mendrano, how true na na-hack daw ang IG account ni Uncle? Totoo ba na yung massive ng Vietnamese fan? Totoo din ba na massive Vietnamese fans ay nag-unfollow? Yes, marami ngang Vietnamese fans ang nag-unfollow. I think binanggit din ni Uncle yun sa kanyang pa-live. And kung na-hack yung IG account ni Uncle, I think it's the Facebook yung sinasabi nilang na-hack, not the IG. Pageant Mag Philippines, I agree that it could have been sold more than 20 million US dollars. Simply because kung ibebenta mo siya at kaya naman na willing naman yung bebentahan mo na ibenta mo siya higher than 20 I'm sure kakagatin yun ng mo, 'di ba? ng potential buyer mo, 'di ba? Lemwal 23.5. Ito curiosity lang, is IMG and Endeavor the same company or separate company siya? Previously co-owning MUO before it was transferred to JKN. Okay, here's the history of IMG in a nutshell. Yung pinaka-importanteng points lang. IMG is actually a conglomerate of different businesses. It has 3 arms. It has a sports arm, sports and entertainment arm. It has the talent management arm, and it has one more business that I forgot right now. So, all these 3 arms do not necessarily cross paths with each other. Kasi yung talent management ng WME, which is the William Morris Entertainment na part, and the IMG, when they merged together as a company, they rebranded themselves as Endeavor. So, IMG/WME when they became Endeavor. Kaya wag tayong magkalituhan. IMG essentially kasi is just parang one half of the entity ng business. And then nung nag-merge nga sila nung WME, They rebranded themselves, I think, in around 2020 or 2019 as Endeavor. Okay. Ayan, Jael Albaniel says, I think makakabawi ka agad yung JKN kasi malakas talaga sila kumita ng pera. Maraming business. I agree. Di kayang sumagal ng North America or Latin America na mag-invest sa pageant. Yun na nga, kung talagang may pera ang Latin America, then sana binili na nila, di ba? And hindi eh. Parang ngayon, makikita natin that there is wisdom kung bakit yung MIC at saka TMG ang mga pinanalo are mga girls, ang mga nasa top 5 nila are mga girls na from the vote-rich countries kasi they are capable of, you know, providing financial assistance sa mga orgs na to dahil they also, as orgs, as pageant orgs, they also need to, what do you call this, to be afloat as business entities. So finances really need to be, you know, to make sense, di ba? That is why expect that there will be always be like paid voting systems in pageants. So it will, in my prediction, baka nga maging norm na lang siya na may paid voting ang mga pageants ngayon. Ayan. Ano kaya, sabi ni Nathaniel Asan, ano kaya ang reaction ng mga Latino sa news na to? I think, I don't wanna say na may pushback na mangyayari, pero I think they will definitely recalculate, you know, how they play the game. Okay, Saka Chiranay Charon Siri is saying Asia is now lucky because new owner is Asian, so we are looking new changes on Miss Universe. And I think that's correct because I think nowadays what really needs to be pushed is visibility, not only for the Caucasian definition of what is beautiful, but also a more global definition of beauty. Because right now, from what I see with the IMG and the Trump era, is that it is very much concerned with defining beauty in terms of what is beautiful in the eyes of the Americans. What I am hoping that JKN would later do during for the Miss Universe pageant is that to institute diversity in the judging panel, that there's not only, an abundance of American or North American judges, but also have judges that are living and based in Asia, in Africa, in different parts of the world, so that the judging panel is more spread out in terms of diversity, in terms of in terms of race, in terms of gender. I hope that they will remove the all-female judging system. I want Miss Universe to be more inclusive, not just only on the candidates themselves, but also on the judging panels that select the winner. So there. Sir Jess, okay, so Bandy again. Nakakarami na si Bandy. As long as, Sir Jesson, as a long-time fan of Miss Universe, it is the end of an era. I feel a bit sad and sentimental for the old Miss U of the past, but these changes are necessary for the pageant to survive the crisis. True, everyone needs money to survive, and I think that's a valid point. Na we have to recognize that. There. Edward Pelayo Jr., nakakalungkot itong bentahan ng... Bakit naman nakakalungkot? Kasi mas nakakalungkot kung tutiklop ang Miss Universe pageant ng basta-basta na walang tumulong, di ba? I'd rather have the Miss Universe pageant being owned by an Asian, by an African, or even someone from the Caribbean, if it means that it would continue, that it would survive, rather than keep it within within the arms of American owners or North American owners and then die a natural death. I mean, between the survival of the pageant versus versus its death, I think um, IMG and or rather Endeavor made a good call in selling it to an Asian person. Um, okay, Sakat Shiranay clarifies that JKN is 100% ownership because JKN has a company that is based in NYC. That's why 100% ownership. So that's good news. It is still, kind of fulfills the need that it needs to be American based. So we can now assume that the Miss Universe winner would probably be based more in New York City, and would travel only to Bangkok whenever there is opportunities or there are public appearances that she needs to go to there. So there. Lemon 23.5 says, tama kayo Sir Jason that everyone should give JKN the benefit of the doubt. The fear is that the countries like us or Venezuela, USA, etc., is perhaps there's a favoritism from the new owner to certain other countries. So I am hoping that there is more conversation on making the pageant more diverse in terms of the judging process, so that the favoritism towards higher paying franchise owners would stop, so that it will also give opportunities for countries like let's say Belize, like Nicaragua, for example, or perhaps Cambodia, to make it into the semifinalists. And speaking of Cambodia, I think it's about time na we recognize Manita, because she is one of the Asian girls that is highly underrated, that we feel that should make it into the semis of Miss Universe. It's just that because she comes from a very small na country, and it's not even a pageant powerhouse yet. A lot of very underrated girls are neglected because they don't have the sash factor to back them out, or they don't have huge pageant following to help them out in their quest for the title. Um, Uh, Sakachiranai says, but Nawat of MGI is close friend of Anne of JKN. And now let's see if Nawat would be shady with Miss Universe now that it is being owned by a Thai owner. Okay. Jane Constantino, ang mga Western country kasi hindi sila mahilig sa beauty pageant, mas gusto nila sports. Now, here, last comment by Dorothy V. Jones. I'm guessing the apprehension many are feeling can be derived from the immediate comparison to another Thai pageant owner. Let's give JKN the benefit of the doubt, which we should be giving her the benefit of the doubt, and give her the opportunity to make the changes necessary as she deemed necessary for the pageant. And I am hoping that because now the pageant is owned by an Asian, we should all rally together as Asian brothers and sisters. Kasi for the longest time, pageants are owned by by Caucasians, by Americans, by the British, and I think it's about time that since we have Asian owners as pageant owners, we start to recognize and be more open to larger and more inclusive definitions of beauty, and that we start looking at Miss Universe as a pageant that could potentially be more, be more open in defining beauty, not from a Western perspective, but from a global perspective. And that has always been the issue with the Miss World, with the Miss Universe organizations that are largely owned by Caucasians. And if pageants like these are owned by Asians, perhaps there is now a move by the owners to recognize Asian, African, and other POCs, person of colors, as as potential market for beauty. And I am hoping that with the new owner, the changes would be reflective of the more global audiences that it now wants to cater, and at the same time, more, more, or rather less European, less American-centric definitions of beauty. I think it's about time that we move the Miss Universe from that perspective to a more global perspective that includes Asian perception of beauty, African perception of beauty as standards of what can make a candidate win as Miss Universe. So there, I hope that everyone, enjoyed our live today, and I hope that in the future we will be more involved with how the Miss Universe is developing as a pageant, because I think lahat tayo nabuhayan ng loob because of these new changes, because if money is being poured into the organization, then the organization can largely make changes with the pageant. Kumbaga, there is investment pouring in, and that is always a good thing. And for the last comment by Jael, all we need to do is to recalculate or recalibrate or change strategies to still ace the Miss Universe. Definitely, because we all need to, to observe what the pageant is looking for, and move towards that direction. If they are looking for someone that is letter A, then we don't give them a letter B. So we need to hone in into what they want, what they need, and at the same time provide them for that. Ayan. Sige, huling hirit sa mga pahabol. McDale Evans, gagawa po ba kayo ng hot picks for Miss Universe? If yes, when? McDale, for me, hot picks are no longer necessary, are no longer relevant in the conversation of beauty pageants, because yung mga hot picks na yan, the only hot picks that actually matters is the final hot picks. Yung first, second, third, and whatever, pre-arrival, post-arrival hot picks, I think those are just content generating na mga post para magkaroon lang ng engagement. It does not really gauge the performances of the girls, because most hot picks are just based on who's popular at that point in time in the competition. So I no longer do that. Instead, what I do is that I give a reason, or I write a blog post on who are my favorites, who are my pre-arrival favorites, and explain why they are my favorites. And I would rather, review their performances after their preliminaries, in order for everyone to have like somebody else's perspective on what happened, how well they did during their performances in the preliminaries, in order for them to understand kung bakit mas nag-work ito at bakit hindi nag-work yung isang yung hindi ganun kapido yung performance ng isa. So I'd rather do that rather than do hot picks that are more likely nowadays parang clickbait ang dating niya, kasi na siya parang ginagawa na lang siya just for visibility on social media. So yun, I think that's it. That's the entire conversation that I want to have with you guys. Ayan, naglagpas na naman tayo ng isang oras, and I hope that in the future we can contain, you know, our conversation to just an hour and 30 minutes. Okay, so but it was fun talking to you guys. For everyone who's new on the channel, please subscribe to my channel. Please help me grow this channel. Help me, you know, make this channel a fun place to be in. And the next time that we will be having a live stream, I will try as much as possible to announce it a day before before I do it. Unlike this one, na special case lang ito because of the very sudden and very new uh, na 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 development in Miss Universe. Ayan. Again, Ping, maraming salamat din for being here. Sa lahat ng mga dumalo, for everyone who joined us in the chat, for everyone who joined us for this live stream. Thank you very much for your time and patience with me. I hope to see you again soon in our next live stream. So that's it. Bye-bye, everyone, and take care.